So glad you're starting off your Wednesday with us here at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. Thank you for joining us here. And before you head out, let's talk about this warm-up. It feels pretty nice so far.
Already you're feeling it.
Yeah, bring it.
So cold yesterday.
Yeah.
Much better today as you're stepping out the door. And temperatures overall are going to be warming up through the weekend. That's coming up in your 7-day forecast in just a moment. But right now, taking a look outside, it is nice and calm out there. This is San Diego looking down towards the Mission Bay from our Mount Soledad camera. It's currently about 54 degrees, winds out of the southwest at about 5 miles an hour. Current temperatures outside, mountains are still chilly at 28 degrees apiece. Other spots into the 40s today. Ramona yesterday was in the upper 20s for much of the morning, so already warmer. I'll have a look at that weekend warm-up in just a bit.
Thank you very much, Alex. And now, new this morning, a man is dead after being shot by San Diego police.
This happened last night near Santa Fe Depot on Kettner Boulevard, and CBS 8's Regina Yerita live downtown, just getting some new information here. Regina?
Good morning, Eric and Netta. We're just off of Kettner Boulevard. You can see that this area is cleared now. We're seeing cars driving through, people walking by this morning. But just hours ago, local authorities had closed off this area because of an officer-involved shooting. So we know that one person is dead. Let's get to some video here, show you what it looked like. This was the scene just hours ago. According to the San Diego Sheriff's Department, they say a man in his early 20s was shot by a San Diego police officer near Kettner Boulevard. The Sheriff's Department homicide unit and several detectives were here overnight gathering information. They were able to recover a handgun from the man who was shot. This all happened just before 9 p.m. last night. San Diego police were originally responding to a report of battery. As officers were investigating the area, their attention was then drawn in the direction of the MTS trolley platform where a shooting had just happened there. While proceeding to check the area, they noticed a man, and that's when an officer-involved shooting happened. The sheriffs say police officers immediately began life-saving measures on the person until the paramedics arrived. He was then taken to a local hospital where he died from his injuries. Anytime an officer-involved shooting occurs, the county-wide memorandum states that the sheriff's department take over the investigation, which is why part of their department was on scene earlier today. Now, we are told no officers were injured in the incident. The officer involved in the shooting has been employed by the San Diego Police Department for just over 2 years and is assigned to patrol at the Central Division. So back out here at this time, the motive and the circumstances are still under investigation. We're trying to get more information from the Sheriff's Department, but stick with CBS 8 as we continue to cover this. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Regina, thanks for that. Today, President Donald Trump is expected to sign his first piece of legislation. The Laken-Riley Act passed the House last week, and it requires the Department of Homeland Security to detain undocumented migrants for certain crimes before they are actually convicted. They include offenses like theft and burglary, or those resulting in death or serious injury. Most lawmakers who voted for the measure are Republicans, but dozens are Democrats.
Are very clear. They want more border security, but they also want an opportunity for sane immigration reform that stabilizes and fixes our broken immigration system.
Immigrant rights advocates worry this act will trigger mass roundups of people for offenses as minor as shoplifting. Experts say there's no connection between immigration and crime. The legislation is named after a 22-year-old Georgia student who was killed last year. An undocumented migrant from Venezuela is serving a life sentence for her murder. Facilities at Buckley Space Force Base in Colorado will be used by ICE to process migrants. It's the first military base to be used as a processing center as President Trump ramps up detentions of undocumented migrants. It comes as large ICE operations are expected in Colorado communities like Aurora. Similar operations have been happening in Chicago and New York City. The El Cajon City Council has rejected a resolution that would have aligned the city with President Trump's immigration policies. The council voted 3-2 last night after almost 6 hours of discussion. The proposal would have allowed police to work with federal immigration authorities.
I feel so happy. I'm able to go celebrate. I'm happy that the council stood with us and they heard us and they heard our concerns.
I'm disappointed because federal law always overrides any state law.
El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells said in a statement, quote, "I will not stop fighting to protect our communities and keep criminals off our streets. Safety isn't negotiable." The Trump administration's recent decision to allow ICE raids in sensitive locations like churches and schools has sparked concern among migrant families.
CBS 8's Chris Grow joining us live outside Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish, that's in Logan Heights. Chris also explaining the rights people have if an ICE agent knocks on their door. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning. And look, this is something that we've been highlighting in our immigration reporting, which is this administration's decision to go back on a policy that has been used for years to not conduct these type of operations, these raids, these arrests at places of worship and schools, not only because of they thought of, again, as a sanctuary, but also the impact it could have from those who are there worshiping, who are there attending school, who may not be impacted by the operations in terms of their own status, but just seeing that take place. According to one of the priests here at Our Lady of Guadalupe, he says this is a nightmare scenario.
The message is being clearly sent that immigrants are not welcome. And we know that immigrants have made this country great and continue to do so. So we can't give up the fight by just allowing fear to keep us cowering in our homes. We need to come out, we need to be the contributing members of society that we are.
And so, again, that was Scott Santarosa here with Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish. He says that of course, their church and others have been places of sanctuary, a safe place for those who are undocumented. He does say that many in his congregation are undocumented and that he will not be letting ICE agents in to conduct their operations. Now, we also spoke with an immigration attorney about what your rights are, that you're only required to open the door to an ICE agent or other agencies that are acting on behalf of ICE if they have a judicial search warrant. Of course, you do not also have to speak to them. You do have the right to remain silent, but to continue to look for that judge's signature, you also have the ability to record ICE agents in any interaction that you have with them. Here's more from that immigration attorney that we spoke with.
The idea is to create anxiety and fear and send a message to the world that don't come to the U.S. right now. If you come here, we'll send you back.
Now, the other thing that the attorney added was that if you are someone who is undocumented and you are taken into custody by ICE, that prior to that arrest, to ask for a reference number, an E number. Essentially, it's a number that you can give to your loved ones, to your attorney, which will help find you and identify you in this system, which is quickly becoming larger and larger of those who are taken into custody. Eric and Netta.
Chris, thank you very much for that live report there. This morning, the Border 2 fire on Otay Mountain is now 88% contained. The fire has burned 6,600 acres. It has not grown in size since Saturday. First responders don't expect this fire to spread now, but they do expect evacuation orders to remain in place for the time being in that rural area. There have been no reports of injuries or structures damaged, thankfully. The cause of this fire is under investigation. This morning, county supervisors are moving forward with a wildfire preparedness plan. It includes working to clear more brush, adding more water tenders, and purchasing a new helicopter. During yesterday's meeting, people pointed to the fires in Los Angeles, saying more needs to be done to prevent something similar from happening here. A new helicopter has an $18 million price tag. Funding for the request will be included in upcoming budget deliberations.
All right, 6:09 here on this Wednesday. A noticeable warm-up as you step outside here, and this warming is going to continue?
It is going to continue.
Okay, great. We'll take that.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be beautiful.
Nice.
Sunny skies and much warmer temperatures. So that's what's coming up in the forecast today. Hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. Satellite radar perspective this morning does show a little bit of some activity out through the mountains. This is really light snow flurries to some light drizzle, if anything. The mountains since this last weekend, Palomar got about 10 inches, Laguna about 8 inches. So it's going to be a great weekend coming up to head out to those mountains. We expand the view just a little bit. Some showers moving through Blythe, the Colorado River on the backside of that cold low pressure system. And we'll track that more coming up in the full forecast. This afternoon, the sea breeze is going to pick up again, just like it did yesterday. Values 10 to about 15 miles an hour for areas like Oceanside, a little bit stronger in Fallbrook, and also the deserts to the mountain communities. It's going to be a little bit breezy this afternoon, and that's going to be just about the only change. Those winds start to settle down again this evening. Let's go to your high temperatures for today. It's going to be a little bit warmer today, but still beneath the seasonal average, which is about 65 degrees. Most spots today will be into the low 60s, into the upper 50s, and it's going to be another cool day. You'll see more sun. That's going to help with the warmth this afternoon. Still some clouds over the mountains, and that sea breeze does pick up this afternoon, so expect that. I'll have more on the warmer weekend and also another chance of rain coming up in just a little bit. Let's go to the traffic map now. It's been a really calm morning so far in terms of the streets. We got lots of green out here on the map, but it is picking up a little bit of wind and some fog out there in the mountains this morning, so give yourself a little more time. Let's see some more drive times. You're moving pretty good today. 8 westbound, it's looking great if you're heading over to the 805, but still the Coronado Bridge area, if you got to go over there, that's going to slow you down to a crawl, 13 miles an hour. Netta and Eric, it's yours. Now, actually, let's go to the wait times. Just kidding. Now it's a 105-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry and 70 minutes at Otay Mesa.